So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Sakshi, your host for today's session, and I'm very thrilled to welcome you all for this exciting webinar on Next-Gen IoT, Unlocking Data Intelligence with AI and Art. Let me take a moment to introduce you to Aditya School of Business Management, ASBM, Mumbai, a leading business school based in Borivali, Mumbai, recognized for its industry-driven curriculum, commitment to shaping future business leaders. ASBM is ranked among the top 20 B schools in Western India and proudly holds the 6th position among the top B schools in Mumbai, as per Times B School Survey 2025. ASBM is also recognized for its industry-aligned curriculum, experiential learning approach, and strong corporate partnership. By integrating cutting-edge knowledge with practical experience, ASBM ensures that its students are not only prepared for today's job market but are future-ready to lead, innovate in an ever-evolving business landscape. And today's webinar is a great example of how technology is reshaping the industries. Professor Dr. S. Ainavolu, an industry veteran with over 2 decades of leadership experience at NTPC and the Reliance Group. He's the former VP and lead of industrial IoT at Reliance Group. He earned his doctorate in management from IIM Calcutta and is also a certified independent director from IICA. Throughout his career, he has led strategy, corporate growth, and smart city projects, playing a key role in asset-intensive power companies and corporate training. So after his illustrious industry career, he has transitioned into academia, serving as a professor of strategy at NMIMS Mumbai, VPSM, Navi Mumbai. His expertise spans IoT, AI-driven analytics, and industrial automation, making him the perfect guide for today's discussion on next-gen IoT and its impact across industries. Welcome, Dr. Ainavolu. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for the generous introduction. Welcome to this session, Next-Gen IoT, Unlocking the Data Intelligence with AI and Analytics. Okay, go through this with utmost care and take your own notes if you would like to, and then we shall discuss any of the doubts you have. What is this internet? It looks like what a question is this? Everybody uses internet. They think they know the internet, but what is this meaning of internet? Internet means, actually, it's a network of networks. Interconnected networks is called, network of networks is called internet. In general, we call internet of people as the internet. So what types of internets are possible? So can I have really connected people? Yes, that's the normal internet. Can I have connected energy grids? Yes, that's the energy internet. Can I have water bodies connected together? Yes, that's the internet of water. Can I have things connected together? That's the internet of things, our topic of the afternoon. What is this internet of things? First of all, what do you mean by things? So things are nothing but devices. When I say devices, anything which you use in your day-to-day life, which can have some sort of connectivity. Can I have a pressure cooker in my home connected? Yes, it is possible. Can I have washing machine at home connected? Yes. Can I have my laptop connected from home? Yes, possible. Can I have my car connected? Yes, possible. So by this definition, all these things get classified, are covered under the word called things. So when you connect all these things, when you connect all these so-called communicable things, they can communicate with you, they can take controls, they can signal, they can receive signals. So that becomes our Internet of Things. Who connects all these things? Naturally, the great Internet of People itself is used to connect the things and transfer the signals. Okay, what is this next gen? Why do we call this as next gen? So earlier we were focusing more on connecting and probably getting a sort of ability to communicate, ability to control, ability to integrate. That was the whole purpose of the Internet of Things. Now, huge data is getting piled up. I need to unleash the power behind this data. So how do I ensure that? Now the data quantum is increasing. That once the data quantum is increasing, communication also becomes a bottleneck. So I need to have enhanced connectivity. So in terms of, most of you must have heard of the 4G, after the 4G, 5G. and efforts are on towards reaching to 6G. So the other concept which we have is edge computing. Edge computing. We'll see all these things in detail. And the other one, all of us, we in general, every day, 10 times, 20 times, we hear is AI, artificial intelligence. And the last word is analytics. We'll start from the reverse. What is analytics? Anything that you are doing analysis is analytics. And when it comes to analytics slide, we'll see it in detail. Typically, you get data gets generated, the data needs to be transmitted, communicated. Once it comes to some place, it has to be sorted, it has to be stored, and it has to be worked upon. And when you require that data, or the intelligence worked on that data, or the pattern that is emanating from the data, you need to retrieve that. And then again use for your real life situations, business decisions, and then any industrial purpose. So when you integrate all these things, it becomes your next-gen IoT. Then why do we require all these things? All of us, we hear that sustainability is the word of the day, word of the century. So naturally, we are all aiming towards the reaching higher levels of the sustaining the ability, which is sustainability. And we would like to have more of a human-centric design. End of the day, why are you designing all these things? To keep the human in the central place and to take care of the environmental aspects, to take care of the industrial aspects, to take care of the energy aspects, to take care of the economic aspects. So for achieving all these things, naturally, you need to have next-gen IoT. So when we say artificial intelligence and integrating that with the IoT, so have you heard of AI embedded video cameras? So recently Mahakumbh is over, and then there number of cameras, what we call CCTV cameras, have built-in intelligence. So that is AI embedded or AI empowered cameras. So once I have AI empowered, AI embedded into my things, so it can actually think at its own end. So instead of I just generate a mere data, that data gets transmitted to somewhere else, centralized place. There it is worked upon. Some patterns are sensed. Based on that, some criteria is taken, frameworks are imposed, and then decisions are taken. Those decisions are communicated back. There's a huge lag. That entire lag gets eliminated if I'm able to integrate this with the AI. Then a sort of analytics. So it's a simple graphical representations, patterns, graphs we are familiar with. But how do I see at a snapshot what exactly is happening and if I generate 1,000, 10,000 graphs, it actually confuses the decision maker. Instead, I would like to generate all those things, but I should also be able to find out what is more important at that moment, what should trigger my attention, what should trigger my immediate actionability. That particular thing can come only through advanced analytics. 25, 21, 19. Suppose it goes towards the 19, 18. It's very chilly. So I wish it is increased a bit. So the easiest thing is that I take the remote into my hands and then do whatever is the action required, increase or decrease the set point. On the other hand, imagine the temperature is measured here and it gets transmitted to say Bangalore or Delhi, and the decision is taken that the temperature inside this room should not be 19 degrees, it should move to 24 degrees. Then the command comes from all the way from there, and here the temperature increases from 19 degrees, it slowly becomes 20, 21, 24. And say it, God forbid, it crosses 26, 27. Again, the signal goes from here, hey, the current temperature is 26, 27, 28. What should I do? So this looks to be very, very ridiculous example. But in fact, in everyday industrial controls, this was the situation. A parameter is sensed, a parameter is transmitted, converted into electricity, it is transmitted, it goes miles, and then there is a decision taken. The decision gets communicated back, and the action is done by an actuator. So when you have so much of delay involved, naturally, there will be some risks involved, and some blast could happen, some process condition go out of hands. Now, what is the solution? What is the solution? Another simple example, you are driving a car and then you are the person who can take the right decision. If suppose the distance between the next car and your car is becoming lesser and lesser, naturally, you will have to decelerate and you have to apply the brakes. So now you can't please wait for the decision to brake in Borivali to be taken by somebody who is sitting in a control room in South Bombay. So there's a huge lot of delays. there's a priority issues, communication issues, and hence there could always be an accident that's possible. So instead, what I would like to do is, okay, I am sitting here, my thing is here, my decision making has to happen here, and it has to happen in real time. How does it happen? So naturally, I generate my own decisions at this place. So before I send my signal out, I will just check whether the priority is to take the decision here or to send it out and then wait for a processed decision to come from somewhere else. So if I am generating that decision here itself by computing at the edge of my table, at the edge of my device, it is called edge computing. Here you are not losing the precious time, you're not losing the precious bandwidth, you're not losing the real-time delays, you're not suffering actually. So edge computing provides you wonderful opportunity for you to take a real-time decisions and take the systems into your more and more control. Then the connectivity issues. So typically, those of us who have seen 1G, 2G, 3G, as if we were learning the number system again and again. Now it comes to 4G stabilized, now 5G on the anvil, and then 6G in the test labs. But what is that connectivity revolution that's happening? So why should I be excited when things are moving from 2G, 3G, 4G? So a couple of things all of you need to know, those of you who are interested into technology associated courses is, one, the latency decreases. So latency, when I say, I don't know how many of you have really watched your devices in a very bad signal phase. So there is a sort of jerky movements that happen. So these are the signal issues. The worst signal issue is that the whole thing is cut off. That's the worst thing. But otherwise, if it's a poor signal, if it's the under capacity, then there's a sort of movements, slow movements. So that's the latency issue. And then you want to improve that latency. You want to minimize the delay. So for example, I say something here, after a couple of minutes, you are hearing it there. So there's a sort of a lack of synchronization between my movements and my wording. The moment I say wording, so you should be able to hear the word wording and also my actioning. If there's a delay between these two, that is called latency. Now you may say, what's the big deal if there is a delay of 2, 3, 5 seconds or 10 seconds? Why should I spend more money on the infrastructure? Is it that demanding need? Yes, it is that demanding in real-time applications. For example, we have port trust in this place. Okay, there are many port towns. So a lot of loading happens. So when the loading happens in the real time, the problem is these are all huge assets and the visibility is limited. Naked eye visibility is less. Naturally, these people will see through devices. Now, you want to place something here, but there is a delay of spotting that place. So I think I'm putting it here, but actually I'm putting it here. Okay, in real-time applications, latency makes a lot of difference. So it's not only the loss of material, but also loss of lives that can happen. Because at this place, there could be a ship, and at this place, somewhere else, there could be a human being. So instead of dumping into the ship, I'm dumping on the head of a human being. So I cause accidents. So to prevent all those things naturally, we need to go for faster as possible, as reliable as possible, as compliant as possible. And for that, I need to have more and more throughput. And also I need to have lower and smaller latency periods, delay periods. Latency, remember it as delay. Okay. So in the industrial applications, naturally, I need to have very small delays possible. So also in real life situations, you are supposed to trigger something on some human body condition. So if somebody is about to suffer a heart attack, you can't take the action after half an hour just because your communication system or your measurement systems are suffering huge lags. Other interesting concept is quantum computing. So typically, digital systems operate in zeros and ones. Most of you must have studied that in the earlier classes. So when I have this series of zeros and ones and combinations of these two throughput, and then there could be a lot of slow movement happening, getting confused. Now, what if I can do a bulk transfer of the whole thing? So that bulk transfer concept is my quantum computing. So naturally, when we say, instead of keeping, suppose, imagine I have 100 1 rupee coins and then I have to give you 100 rupees to you. So I keep on counting 1, 2, 3, 400 times I have to do that. It's such a serial, sequential, slow process. On the other hand, Imagine I have a 100 rupee note in my pocket and I'm just giving in a second to you. So you are accepting that 100 rupee note. So the action in both the cases is same. I have given 100 rupees in the earlier case. I am giving the 100 rupees in the second case also. But the time taken for that and the end-to-end transaction is much faster in the second case. The second case stands for the quantum computing example. On the other hand, first one is a traditional computing. Okay, we have been witnessing that computing since 1960s. Now the quantum computing gives you faster throughputs and quicker actions and hence more preferred for real life situations. We'll see very, very interesting use cases from the next gen IoT. Okay, so India is an agricultural country. All of us we know because even today, when we are talking of so much of high tech, almost half the people, almost half the people in the rural areas are actually dependent on agriculture. Are actually dependent on agriculture. Their livelihood, their economic might, their purchasing power, all these things are dependent on agriculture. Now, even if I am focusing on business management, industrial management, in the interest of my businesses, in the interest of my industries, naturally, I would like to have rural sector doing well, agriculture sector doing well. Then only my consumers will be able to consume that, and hence my customers will be able to pay for that. Okay, so sort of agriculture has to be made more intelligent. Otherwise, what is the essence of the value creation process in the agriculture? You have to have some land, which is naturally prepared before the season, and some sort of seeds have to be put into the ground. Some minimal watering has to be done. Then probably if you are dependent on rain or other pipeline measurement, drip irrigation, then naturally that water flow has to happen. And then some crop comes out after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, depending on what crop is expected. Now you cut that, prepare that, bundle it, send it to the market, and get the realization of that price. This is the entire value chain of your agriculture. Now, why do I need to bring in technology into smart agriculture? The very answer is I want to make the agriculture smart. For example, do I water my crops if there is going to be a heavy rain tomorrow morning? Probably no, I will not do that because it will be too much of excess of water. Water cost, water wastage is also not condonable. Then how do I come to know that there is going to be a rain tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon? It is through weather sensors that are installed in my fields. Okay, so again, there is huge technology. Or otherwise, I get a definite signal that the wind is blowing towards my fields. It is coming towards our village, set of villages, and it has already rained this morning at a place which is 150 kilometers away from that. So by that, those clouds will be reaching my place by this night or tomorrow early morning. So I will never water my fields. This is the weather forecasting application. Similarly, I need to ensure the nutrients in the ground. So I need to have sensors installed, and those sensors will tell us how much potassium to be added. Okay, how much nitrogen is required, because again, excess fertilizers added to that is unnecessary. One, economically it is costly. Second, it will not be absorbed. Third, it may result unnecessarily in toxicity in your crops. So why should I take that risk? Similarly, pesticides, how much of quantity of that is required, not required, that again will be forecasted and a signal given to us so that we intelligently do that agriculture. Then, is it really ready for cutting? So one is a visual examination based on my years of experience. The other one is that if technology can take a snapshot photo from somewhere and seeing the greenness of that leaves, it can tell me that yes, it is in a couple of days it will be ready. So please make your arrangements. So I will ask for some tractor to come, some truck to come, depending on how much outcome I am expecting. So I can do proactive actions. So all these set of actions together are leading to something called technology-enabled agriculture or smart agriculture. So this is a very powerful, useful use case in the Indian context. Industrial automation. When you run industries, lots of huge machinery will be there. Process plants will have process conditions where hundreds of kilograms of pressure per square centimeter, huge pressures will be there. High temperatures will be there, 500 degrees, 600 degrees, 1000, 1200 degrees. And imagine those things will go out of our control, out of our control. huge accidents will result. One, process loss, material loss. Third is a safety loss. Safety loss resulting in equipment damage as well as the people getting killed or injured. So I would like to have a proactive control over the entire system. So how do I do? I develop a next-gen IoT use case with industrial automation context. So I will have a sort of AI-empowered devices which will be implemented across my process, and two things will be done through this intelligent next-gen IoT. One, I will forecast the condition. I will exactly know when this particular AC machine is going to fail, when this particular boiler feed pump will be failing, when this induced draft fan will be failing, when the furniture conditions in last 24 hours, how many times exactly the furniture condition has gone wrong, and by this trend, how many times the furnace temperature condition will go out of bounds. I can do a forecasting, and hence I can correct that condition before it happens. So I can predict the maintenance needs. That's called predictive maintenance. The other one is operational efficiencies. If I maintain this temperature, if I maintain this flow, if I maintain this pressure, the process will be the most optimum. So I would like to exactly do those things. Then the other use case, very interesting and then very required use case, especially after the COVID, is how do I improve? How do I improve? Based on which some sort of decision making happening for the macro level, at the same time individualized, customized medicine application and administration for individuals. So if that is the purpose, then yes, connected things again. Somebody's blood pressure can be monitored on the real time. Somebody's flows can be, somebody's temperature can be. Yes, all these things can be monitored on a real-time system. And if it is crossing certain threshold, if it is about to become some danger, concern, then naturally the required alerts have to go to the concerned doctor, or if it is some nursing assistant, and their attention has to be drawn to it so that required action is taken, required medicine is done, or some sort of oxygen has to be administered. Immediately it is administered. So these activities can be done proactively. There's no point announcing it at the end of the postmortem that it should have happened in this way. So using our next-gen IoT use cases in the healthcare, we achieve qualitatively superior healthcare systems delivered and also customized healthcare systems delivered for individuals. The other application is the smart cities. Most of us, we live in cities. We know cities are bogged down with so many problems. So whether it is transport, water, energy, parking. So if we have heard so far, probably we can always guess that can I have a solution to all my day-to-day problems using next-gen IoT? The answer is a firm and a confident yes. How does it happen? Parking. So can I really have sensors installed in all the lanes and by-lanes, all the roads, all the parking places, and from a centralized place, I know and drive through an app that what are the parking places empty. So instead of blindly driving into some lane to find out that there's no single spot, I will only go to the place where my car can be parked. It's so simple, so simple. And it is being done. It is being done. Then can I have really my energy flows? Can I have my lighting in the streets to turn intelligent? How? Yes, I can always put up the movement sensors on the road, on the lane, on the highway, and see that during what times, how much of flow of the traffic is there. If the traffic flow is very high, have 100% lighting. If the traffic flow has reduced, have alternative lighting. If the traffic flow is almost none, but still from a safety perspective, have 20 to 30% of the lighting on. So you save massively on the electricity bill. And also you are not compromising on the safety of the people because there's always a minimum lighting ensured. The moment there is a movement, again, the logic goes back to the original. All the lights will get switched on during that time for the defined threshold. So these are some of the use cases from your smart cities. So parking we have discussed, energy saving we have discussed, water. So naturally, which area requires how much of water, what quality of water is going. So all these things can be done through sensors. And sensors will, see, human being, if I ask a human being, hey, please take the sample of this water from all these areas 10 times a day. Now, after a couple of days, that person is going to say, sorry, sir, I'm extremely tired. I can't take at that frequency. On the other hand, if I have sensors installed into all these pipelines and all, I can ask my sensors to give me the data on a minute-to-minute basis. Minute to minute. And no human intervention is required. Automatically, that data point is getting saved in a sort of a huge storage, can be on a cloud, and the pattern will be checked. If there is no change in that parameter, please don't generate any alert. On the other hand, there is a change in that parameter. Naturally, that has to be brought to the operator's attention. So these are very simple, very straightforward, but very useful use cases in the smart city concept. The other one is everybody is concerned nowadays about security. So security, of course, in the physical domain, it is very, very important. But as our processes, many of the processes are shifting towards the cyber, okay, online transactions. So naturally, in a real life situation, it is very easy to prevent a crime, because especially if it is happening in a daytime or where in a crowded area, there could be some alerts and then people can always catch that person or prevent that person from doing that. On the other hand, if it is silently happening on a digital domain, online, at unsuspecting hour, at 2 o'clock, suddenly somebody's account gets debited, and whatever the money that was there, or the transaction happens without the consent of the person, and only in the after a couple of days or 10 days, based on the frequency of transactions that person is used to, they will discover that, oh, I had ₹1,00,000 in my account. Unfortunately, now nothing is there, or the minimum balance is there. So these are the things which posing huge risk. Cyber security is a concern. And can I really deploy my next-gen IoT along with the AI empowerment? The moment, for example, it happened in my own case, I do have a card from a bank, very smart bank, and a technologically very smart bank. I'm not naming the bank intentionally because I don't want their competitors to take this as a bad comment. But the technologically enabled, empowered bank saw that somebody was trying to transfer funds at the middle of the night at 2:30 in the morning hours. I can call it as early morning for me, or late night for some people. So now they saw that in the last 15 years of my account maintenance with them, I never did nighttime transactions at such an hour. So they immediately generated the alert and blocked that transaction. And immediately the call came to me saying that, are you transacting this? I said, I'm not transacting. So it was prevented. It was prevented. Very simple. You have the last 15 years data. This customer never does this late V-hour transactions in the middle of the night. Now, the probability that this person would have done that is very, very, very low. So why don't I stop that transaction temporarily and take a confirmation from the customer that, sir, should we allow this transaction or not? The answer was no. So immediately they didn't permit the transaction and they blocked the card and then said that you will have to visit the local branch to re-enable that. Okay. So this is one example of I myself had that positive example of the cyber security, enhanced cyber security with next-gen IoT. So what are the other benefits? Can I really have efficiency improvement over all these use cases? We have found that efficiency improves. What is efficiency? How much output you are getting for a unit input. So if you're optimizing on all the cost optimization, efficiency improvements, okay, then input optimization, naturally, you will have better outcomes. Then can I have a decision making? Yes, if I'm empowered with the more reliable data, more real-time data, more data that is actually coming from the field at this moment, yes, my decision making or the quality of my decision will improve. Then can I really have my customers to have a better experience? If you are improving your operational efficiencies and you are able to do a better managerial decisions, naturally customer experiences will be superior. Then can I really have this data, let the data speak to me, let the data project a model which would be more suitable in my context than the model which I am currently administering. Yes, once you have minimum amount of data required for this model projections, you can have alternative business models projected to us so that we can take, instead of current business model, we'll follow B, we'll follow C, we'll follow D. Okay. Now gaining a competitive advantage. Once you are in a domain, naturally competition is the reality of the day. So when competitors are along with you vying for the customer pie, naturally you need to do better and better compared to your competitors and provide a customer experience, which is of a higher level. So cost part you reduce, customer experience part you improve, so that you gain something called competitive advantage. So naturally, your IoT provides this much required competitive advantage. Then can there be all so far so good? It looks like I should go for it, but can there be any challenge? Data security, because entire thing is based on one thing called digital. So can something go wrong? Huh? So Murphy's law, if something can go wrong, probably it can go wrong. In such cases, naturally it proves to be very, very costly. And you need to have robust mechanisms in terms of security, in terms of screening, and in terms of real-time corrections. Real-time corrections. Okay, then other thing is that so many players are involved in this game. Okay, and you need to have some sort of standardized protocols, standardized systems, standardized communications, and interoperability means you should be able to operate from one system to the other system. You should be able to connect the other system to this system. And that is the flexibility of interoperability. These are very much required. Otherwise, you'll have a very tough phase in implementing the solutions. Policies and regulatory frameworks. This is a very, very unfortunate area. Industry is progressing at such a pace. On the other hand, required rules and regulations, policies, they're not moving at that pace. So what's happening is that, especially those people who are playing around with the cyber security and then compromising on the systems, trying to make something out of the gaps, they are more hyperactive. On the other hand, government and the regulator, the current practice. Then, as these things are evolving now, we come to the point is that there's a huge talent gap that many people are not aware of. Okay, many people are not aware of what exactly is unleashing and how do I prepare myself. Okay, here comes the programs which we are trying to offer to you, and then wherein you gain comfort with the AI, digital businesses, analysis, data, and then it becomes as if it's the back of your palm, and you should be able to communicate, you should be able to quantify, you should be able to develop models, you should be able to implement solutions for that tomorrow, which is posing the challenges as on today. And other one is, I begin any session with sustainability and end the sessions with sustainability. Energy consumption, too much of energy consumption is happening on these counts, and most of this energy is not that environmentally friendly. So naturally, when you are implementing these solutions, huge energy consumption and hence environmental impact is huge. So we'll have to take care of these aspects. Okay, so what exactly it can do for a takeaway purposes, Next-Gen IoT, it has a huge potential to transform both on my personal, societal levels as well as in an industrial space. So we have industrial revolution that can be led by Next-Gen IoT, and also my social experiences and social revolution that can happen. My individual experiences as well as collective experiences in the societies are going to improve over a period of time. And it can actually, we have very tough times given for sustainability development, sustainable developmental goals, and naturally it will, implementation of these smart solutions will enable us, will facilitate us, rather help us in achieving these goals well. Okay, with this, I thank all of you, and then hope you could understand the concepts. And if you have any specific doubts or you want to know more about our programs, which is a 2-year program, PGDM in digital technologies, then you're most welcome.
That was such an insightful session, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's just conclude. So before we conclude, I would just like to highlight that was an exciting opportunity for those who were inspired by today's discussions and who are looking forward to build a career for AI, data science, and IoT. So at Aditya School of Business Management, ASBM, we offer PGDM MBA program in AI and data science that equips students with industry relevant skills and AI-driven analytics, IoT, applications, and business intelligence. If today's session has sparked your interest in AI and IoT, PGDM MBA in AI and data science is your getaway to a future proof career. So admissions are now open to if you want to see more about what the program is all about and how can we contact for the admissions, you can please visit the website and the number So, moving ahead, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your expertise and giving us a deep dive into how AI and analytics are transforming IoT. Your insights have certainly given us a fresh perspective on the future of technology. And of course, a big thank you for the engaged audience. Your participation made this session even more valuable. We hope you found it very informative and inspiring. So let's just stay curious, stay innovative, and we look forward to seeing you in future sessions. Until the next time, take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.